Well, good day, viewers, and welcome to the Sports Drive Show. I am your host, Brian Monango, updating you and unpacking the latest sports news, as we all do know. Well, before we do get into the show, it's definitely going to be a big one. You guys can definitely get excited for the likes of Vera Loser on this one. But before we do talk about Vera Loser, let's first dive into our special segment, the Soccer Joel.
Champions League, we've got the favourites, and if they're on song, well, they'll give us a bit of everything to enjoy. Well, here we go, the first of taste, and the pressure's on here. It's a red card. Vinicius Junior! Oh my goodness! There was space foul! Lewandowski! Oh, magnificent! That is a stunner! Haaland! What a finish! Coming onto it now to shoot! Champions of Europe, finally!
The 2023-24 UEFA Champions League. Be moved with every game live on SuperSport. Upgrade to Compact Plus.
Okay, well, tonight we get ready for the AFCON semi-finals. Well, Bafana have a mountain to climb against the Super Eagles. South Africa might have proven more competitive against Nigeria in their recent head-to-head clashes, but their record in the past African Cup of Nations meetings against the Super Eagle is losing one and with no wins. So we look forward to seeing these teams. As you can see, Nigeria has won the Cup 3 times. Ivory Coast has won it twice. DRC has won it. Namibia, unfortunately, we are not there, but South Africa has won it in 1996, the year which I was born in. So as we can see, South Africa might try to go for the win once more. As we all know, the Springboks from South Africa are the team that has won the Rugby World Cup, joint most with New Zealand, and they have wished the Bafana boys good luck. So let's take a look at that clip.
Ah la la, la la, ah la la. Ah la la, yo, ah la la, ah la la, ah la la, ah la la. Bafana, we are all behind you. You've already showed us what you can do. We are already proud of you. Go out there, enjoy yourselves, and make the country proud that you all have done. Shapin Machimbos.
To Bafana, I'd just like to say me, the entire Springbok team and the whole of South Africa are behind you guys. Wishing you all the best for the game against Nigeria on Wednesday. We'll be supporting you, make South Africa proud, and yeah, come back as champions.
To Runway and the boys, I just want to wish you good luck for the semi-finals against Nigeria. You really made us so proud as a country, and we are behind you and supporting you all the way. So go out there and enjoy it and just give your best for the country.
Just to everyone in the Bafana team, staff, players, management, we just want to say that we're so proud of you guys and all your hard work over the last few weeks. You've given South Africa something to be excited about once again, and yeah, everyone is so proud of you guys. There's an amazing vibe over here at the moment, and yeah, we're just wishing you all the best for your semi-final. We know that you guys are preparing to the best of your ability, and that you guys are going to go out there and make us proud once again. All the best, and yeah, we can't wait to watch you guys.
Hello brothers, it's Jason Paul here. I'd just like to wish you guys all the best for the semi-final against Nigeria on Wednesday night. Just know that the whole of South Africa is supporting and rooting for you and backing you all the way. Just know that you guys are doing that South African flag proud, and just go out and have fun, enjoy it. It's a special occasion, and I love you, Bring away to boys. Cheers.
We've always had the bravery to stand up for what is Namibian. From protecting our homes to fighting injustices, we still celebrate what it means to us and raise a glass to those who show their bravery. No matter how they take on the world, with all this potential in the land of the brave, what will you do to make this Namibia your Namibia?
Namibia's prospects of hosting a world championship are gaining momentum. Carlos de Sousa, the CEO of MMA Namibia, yesterday introduced the visiting Kenneth Brown, president of the International Mixed Martial Arts Federations, at the local media. Brown is currently here to determine whether the local MMA governing body is capable of hosting a world championship. Namibia's first test run is the African Championship, which will be held in the capital from the 25th of May. With that being said, we do have a video from the conference compiled by Tillman, and so with that being said, let's enjoy this one.
In terms of I think it's the 6th edition of the African Championships, but that's part of the development within Africa to obviously develop the amateur side of the sport in terms of the athletes coming from Africa. That ultimately it's part of the development program that leads into the World Championships. That we've got our 10th World Championships, which will be in Uzbekistan. So we've been around a little bit, not as long as the core sports such as judo, karate, boxing. They've been in 60 years plus.
But did you select Namibia, or how did Namibia get to host the champs?
So we when we have our events in continental structures, we obviously engage with our federations, and we have about 20 national federations within Africa. And obviously we've set up the African Federation in terms of representing as part of the continental structure. So part of that development is looking at federations or countries that can host the event, and it's part of understanding the country, the federation, and building so that it can eventually put on a World Championships. Ultimately, we want to move the world around, so it kind of doesn't just stick in one place. It kind of gives a little bit of fairness to all the federations and the possibility of moving it around in different continents.
Right, and you've seen the facilities now, so you're happy with that?
Yeah, facilities are good. Do you know what I mean? In terms of that, we tend to go for stadiums, but you have to remember you've got to look at the cost in terms of building, especially within Africa. We know the issues around the funding. The fact is that we're not a recognised sport, so it makes it difficult for the national federations to knock on the door of sports minister and National Olympic Committee. So we've got to get them engaged to understand what the sport's about, especially with the perception of the sport over the last 30 years. A lot of people have just been focusing on the professional side and not the amateur side. And our job is to change them, to make them understand the process and how safe the sport is, in terms of the regulation around the sport and what we do in order to make sure that the athletes are safe and that there is the medical data that supports that. And then we give the recommendations to the national federations, and their job is to knock on the door of the sports minister and the National Olympic Committee and say, hey, it's a new sport, you have to make it safe, you have to give the certification to the federations to police the sport. And that's what we want, to ensure that the safety of the sport doesn't get misled, and that we have the right people and the right partners on the ground looking after the sport.
If I may ask, what is MF's biggest concern or not concern, viewpoint for a country to be able to host a world championship? What is the
criteria?
The criteria, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we have a checklist, in terms of venue, equipment, where the hospital is, hotels, in terms of making sure that registration and so forth, transportation, security, all of those are concerns that we have, and we have to go through with the National Federation to make sure that they, can fulfil those requirements. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of a conversation that we have, especially for this one with Carlos. We go through a checklist. We've got a checklist, then we strap around a team that will come in, an events team that will check internet, all sorts of other things, screens, production. Because obviously some of it might go out live. We go to the national TVs and so forth, and we have a wider reach in that. We're sponsored by UFC, so we potentially have up to 1 billion people that can actually have access to the content.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The African champs, where are you going to host that? The MMA Namibia here locally in Windhoek?
Yes, we're hosting it in this venue.
In this venue.
Yes,
okay.
We're hosting it here. We're obviously putting a few structures together. We're going to put everything together, but it's going to be hosted in this venue. So obviously, obviously there's the categories. We're going to fall into the different divisions and things, and obviously times that the fighters come in and all that kind of story. So that gives us enough space and all, the venue gives us enough space for everybody. So it won't be one crowd at like the previous venue. You know, 'cause we'll be here for almost 5 days, 4 or 5 days. The event is going to be in 4 or 5 days. So I think most of the public or the fans will be coming more to the semi-finals, finals. So the last days, like Friday, Saturdays type of story. So, but during the week, it will be a small crowd type of story. You know, maximum 50, 100 people. But on the weekend, obviously, we're going to push it up like we did at AFL. It'll probably be easily. I remember AFL, we did 400 people.
How many countries do you expect at the African Champs?
Well, we would love to have all 20 of them.
20.
But obviously the logistics, transporting the athletes from all over Africa is going to be obviously cost effective. So we're looking at that. So as we get closer to the event, we will find out who's coming and who's not coming. So we pretty much, I would say about 6 to 8 weeks out, we will have more. We'll have definite answers and all the kind of story prior to the event. But yeah, we're trying to push for the 20 countries. I mean, Zimbabwe will probably be the first time they've actually sending somebody out in quite a while they haven't sent somebody out. I've already spoken to the president of Zimbabwe, MMA there. He's sending six athletes out. Zambia is also definitely going to send some athletes. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it last year, but they definitely, because it's on the border, it's cost effective for them. South Africa also. South Africa is definitely on board. Angola is already. I mean, I'm speaking to. They're on board. They're looking at trying to push as many as they can. I mean, I spoke to Scotty. They said they're trying to send about 40 athletes down. That's just Angola. So yeah, it's there. You know, that's the nice thing about Namibia is that we've got all these neighbours next to each other. But obviously all the other ones have to fly in and all that. Congo also can travel also. So it's not as Congo.
Cameroon probably. Nigeria will be here.
Nigeria will definitely
Mauritius will be here.
Mauritius definitely will be here so now, but obviously they have to fly in and all that kind of story. Egypt is also looking on board. They're quite happy to come down. So yeah, there's a few countries that responded to us already and they say yes, we're on board. We're certainly sending a team. Obviously they haven't given us the numbers because obviously they've got to do trials and got to do all the things first, and then obviously then they'll revert back to us. But prior, I say 8 to 10 weeks prior to the event, we'll have more definite answers. Obviously, we will stay in communication with you, gentlemen and ladies, regarding the progress of the event.
No, it is Wednesday, and for this one we have a very, very special Athletes World episode around the Sportswoman of the Year 2023. As you all might know her, that's Farah Luza. Well, we do catch up with her and she tells us about an incredible journey of how she got into cycling and where she is now. So let's take a look at that video. Okay, well, this is episode 2 of Athletes World, and you guys are probably wondering, who are we having at IJG Trails? And we have none other than Farah Luza. Farah, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
Okay, before we do get into this conversation, just so you guys know, Farah won the Namibian Sports Commission Awards Sportswoman of the Year. Okay, Farah, let's just run through that. How was last year for you? Sports-wise, winning the Sportswoman of the Year award. Yeah, what did it take for you last year?
Yeah, I mean, to win the Sportswoman of the Year, you have to have a whole year of good performances, which
Exactly.
I really did have.
Yeah.
I had a phenomenal year last year. I started with winning the national champs in January on the road bike, then going to South Africa, winning the Cape Epic, which is also known as the biggest mountain bike race in the world, comparable to the Tour de France on the road. And then from there I went to Europe. I raced there quite a few races. I won the Swiss Epic, which is the European Cape Epic. And then I won my first World Cup in France in September. So yeah, it was a really good year. And then in October I broke my hand. So I had a little bit of a break there, which was maybe good because now I can go in full swing into this year again.
Wow. Just a few of the achievements. I mean, Switzerland Epic, how was that? We watched that on TV and we were cheering for you the whole way because we had to cover it all the way from here. And we saw you guys were in a team. You guys had a 2-man team, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and the roads looked epic. But yeah, tell us about that. How long was it, like the distance-wise, and how did you enjoy it?
Yeah, the Swiss Epic is 5 days, and the distances are between 60 and 100 kilometers a day, but with a lot of climbing. They have different climbs there than we have here.
Yeah.
They have the Alps. And yes, it's
Okay.
a two-person team, so I was racing with my Mauritian friend Kim Lacourt, that I also raced the Cape Epic with. And yeah, we just have a phenomenal partnership, which really helps in those races. And then, yeah, somehow we could pull it off. I always thought I'm not a good climber, but I think since I moved to Switzerland a few years ago, I really had to improve in that. So now my climbing skills are much better.
Much better. Okay, well, okay, then let's talk about where it all began for you. When did you get into cycling? And yeah.
Whew, I've been cycling for a long time already. I started as a little girl. If I see the little girls now riding, I'm like, oh, that's where I started. So I started with the age of 8, and I always enjoyed cycling. My brother was doing it, my bigger brother, and what he can do, I can also do. So I had to go into cycling. I also did a few other sports like swimming. I tried all kinds of sports, but then, yeah, cycling just stick to me. Like it's such a nice sport. It's outdoor. You can do it with people.
Yeah.
I just love it.
You
So
just love
at a
cycling,
point
yeah.
I had to decide what I wanted to do, and then I decided for cycling, and I think that was definitely the right decision.
And you went for it and you stayed on track till today.
Yes.
Okay, well, speaking of origins, where do you originate from? Where do you come from? Where did you grow up in? Yeah, as you said, you're cycling from a young age. Where did you grow up? When did you move to Switzerland and all of that?
I grew up in Windhoek.
Okay.
Born and raised in Windhoek. I went
City
to
girl?
Yes,
Okay.
City girl. I went to the German school here. Finished my school there. After that, I went to South Africa to study there. Always took my bike with. And then I met my now husband in South Africa, and he is from Switzerland. That's how I ended up in Switzerland. then.
Okay.
So it was the next step to go there. The racing in Europe is just so much better and so much more competitive. So if you want to do the next step, you have to go there.
Okay,
So for me, it
okay.
was like the next step, but I also enjoy it, but I still love coming back to Namibia.
Okay, well, and your husband is a well-decorated cyclist as well, mountain biker. I don't know, what do we call you guys? Is it cyclist? Is it mountain biker? Or is it a bit of both?
I think Connie is definitely a mountain biker,
Okay.
a pure mountain biker, marathon mountain biking. Actually, it's a longer distance.
Yeah.
I love my mountain bike marathon. I'm actually also really good at it, but I do road races as well. Like the 2 Olympics I've been to, that was on the road bike. So I have a soft spot for that as well. But yeah, I like the balance. I think it's also good for one to not only do one thing, but I would say my heart is still on the mountain bike.
Mountain bike. I think Alex said the same thing when we spoke about what he is, and he classified himself as an all-around person, but preferably the mountain biking is where it's at. But yeah, your husband is a well-decorated mountain biker, and you are as well. Tell me, how do you guys complement each other? Did you learn a lot from him? Do you guys work out together? Because, I mean, you guys complement each other so well when it comes to the racing.
Yeah, I think I definitely learned a lot of him. I mean, I got to know him when I was 20.
Okay.
And we've been together for almost 10 years now, so quite a long time. And he is a little bit older than me, so he has had those 4 years of more experience already.
Yeah.
So when I met him, my training got so much more professional. I started eating better, recovering better. It's all of these things. Cycling is not about what you do on the bike. It's actually a 24/7 job. You have to look that you eat right, that you sleep right, that you recover, that you train right. It's the whole package. And I think doing that together with your partner, it's so much easier then. Because if you had a partner that just wants to go party every night, and you're like, oh, but I have to go to bed at 9 because I have to go race tomorrow morning at 6.
That'll be a problem.
It won't work. So like this, we really complement each other. He knows what I need. I know what he needs. He helps me in so many aspects. He cleans my bikes. He fixes my bikes. He helps me with all of that stuff. I maybe help him a little bit with making food or something. I think he helps me more than I help him. But it's a give and take, right?
Yeah, it's a give and take.
So I think we found a good way that works for us.
Okay, does it ever become competitive on the race bike?
I think because I'm a woman and he's a man, I know I'm the weaker one.
Yeah.
But sometimes if we do intervals together and I'm on the road bike and he's on the mountain bike and I can really hurt him, I do like that.
Okay, well, I mean, there must be room for a bit of competition.
Yes.
But yeah,
it's a healthy competition.
Healthy competition, definitely.
Yes.
Speaking of plans for the year, 2024, what can we expect from Ferraluza? What are your plans for this year? What do you plan on doing and improving on this year?
Yeah, so this year is a big year again. It's Olympic year, it's 2024. I will start I started my season in Namibia, which also is the reason because Windhoek is actually on altitude, so it's really good for training. It's good for base training beginning of the year. Lucky me that the Namibian national champs were end of January, so I could squash that in as well.
Recovered your title, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Congratulations to Fair Loser, got the title back.
Thank you. And then I'm leaving to South Africa next weekend, and then I'll start my mountain bike season there with a stage race, 4-day stage race, and then with another 1-day stage race, and it's all as preparation for the Cape Epic again. Unfortunately, I can't race the Cape Epic with Kim Lacourt again. She is moving to the road bike more this year, which is quite a bummer because we had a really good partnership.
Good partnership, definitely.
But I think I've found a worthy partner. It's not out who it is yet, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Okay.
And then that will definitely be my first big season highlight. And then from there, I'll go back to Europe, and I want to compete at the Marathon World Cup, which is more between April and beginning of June. And then end of July, beginning of August are the Olympic Games that I hopefully qualify for. So Namibia has a spot for that already. But now internally of Namibia, I still have to prove myself. I think I'm on a good way, but it's not my decision to make. And that's August, and then another big race for me will be the Marathon World Champs, Mountain Bike Marathon World Champs in September in America.
Wow.
So I have big goals for there.
Wow, okay.
So let's see what I can do.
And then Nedbank Desert Dash, obviously. That's also, are you also doing that this year?
I mean, my husband Connie, he loves coming to Namibia for that. It's his favorite race all the time.
We all know. Trust me, we all know it's his favorite race.
So he already said it's his 10th month, so he has to come back for it.
Has to.
I mean, if he comes, I also have to come. I'm considering maybe doing it solo, maybe not. I'll see how the year unfolds. I mean, it's always such a good vibe at the Nedbank Desert Dash. So if I'm here, I have to do it.
I mean, it's his 10th Nedbank Desert Dash, so I think it will only make it sweeter if you are also involved in it.
Yeah, especially, I mean, the reason why he's coming back to do it is because of me, because he got the Namibian connection.
You know, so it only makes sense that you are there with him. Okay, so before we do, not let you leave, not yet, I don't think so, but we have this thing where we always ask our guest on the show to give out a message to the young riders. I mean, we do have young cyclists that are out there that you do inspire, that look at you, that stand them, look up at you. Yeah, what message do you have for them? What word of advice would you give to the youth?
Sure, I mean, Namibian cycling is really growing, especially with youngsters, and I love seeing it. There needs to be an next Vera Lusa in a few years, or even now already, they can come, they have to come. But they just have to keep going. It's such a beautiful sport. Go out, just ride your bike, take your friends with, don't do it alone. It's so much nicer if we can do it together. But most importantly, just have fun.
Most importantly, just have fun. I think we've got accustomed to those words now, guys, like it's being said, most importantly, just have fun. How does, my question is, how does your daily day go about? How does your day look like on a daily basis, like in the morning to before you go to bed?
I get up around 6, depending on what time I go on the bike. If I go with people, sometimes I want to go earlier, so I have to get up earlier. And then I train, say, 3 to 5 hours a day. Then I come home, I have a recovery shake, I have lunch, then maybe I still have gym in the afternoon. Then I still work. I have online work that I can do, so in the afternoon I still sit in front of the laptop. And then in the evening it's usually still some stretching or yoga, and then I'm usually off to bed quite early. So, yeah.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news. First, English Premier League, and is defending champions Manchester City flexing their muscles again, and they back close to the top of the English Premier League. They beat Brentford. That was a away win for Manchester City in a midweek game by 3-1. They're just 2 points behind Liverpool at the moment on the points table, and they've played 1 game less. So it's Liverpool on 51 points after 23 games, and then Manchester City now 49 points after 22 games. Arsenal on 49 also after 23 games, and in 4th position at the moment is Aston Villa. They've got 46 points after 23 games. What happened in the game against Brentford, it was Brentford that took the lead in the 21st minute, and it was mostly in the first half that Brentford was leading. It was Neil Murphy that scored for Brentford in the 21st minute, and it was only in the injury time of the first half that Phil Foden scored a goal, and it was 1-1 at half-time. Then Phil Foden also scored another two goals in the second half, 53rd minute and 70th minute, so it's Phil Foden with a hat-trick, and that helped Manchester City beating Brentford by 3-1. Moving on to cricket news, and it's South Africa playing against New Zealand, a test match that's played in New Zealand. Tough for South Africa. They're playing without most or all of their first choice players. They're all playing SA20 series in South Africa, and it is New Zealand's got a massive lead after the third day. They're leading by 528 runs, and so they obviously favourites to win this test quite comfortably. It is New Zealand that batted first, 511 in their first innings. South Africa replied by 162. And now New Zealand in their second innings, 179 for 4. That was at close of play on the third day. Captain?